One, two, three. Hello, my name is Gosia Kuszewski. I'm a naturopath based in Queensland, specializing in detoxification and digestive issues. Today I'm interviewing Anna Peters from Sydney, who had pretty remarkable results with the most effective supplement for liver regeneration I've ever used in my practice. My intention is to let other people know about this remarkable product, which not only helped her with the pain, but also completely regenerated her liver. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Gosia. How are you? Thank you for having me on the call.
Great to have you, Anna. Anna, you have pretty remarkable story to tell. Can you tell us briefly how Max products help you to recover from your health problems you encountered after your numerous car accidents?
Yes, well, it was quite a bit of a shock to me because I grew up being an athlete. From the age of 5, I've been running, just about every athletic event. And in my early teens, I started doing martial arts, and I was a very active person, and I won the National Martial Arts Championships in 91, 92, and then I went on to coach a senior male soccer team. So my life was very active, and I didn't know any different. And it was quite a shock to the system when I woke up one morning paralysed. I lost the use of my right arm, and that was a delayed reaction from about 4 car accidents that had happened in 12 months. And I wasn't driving I only drove the last one. The first 3, I was a passenger in a taxi, and it was severe whiplash that was left untreated. And I woke up 10 years later with paralysis down the right side, and basically all 5 specialists told me that I had lost the use of the right side of my body for the rest of my life. So I didn't accept that, and I started doing research into cell health. And about a year and a half later, I found out that nerves grow back 0.5 millimetre per year. And a year and a half later, I got feeling back. But as the feeling came in slowly, the pain came with it. And it was like a constant ache. It was like an electric shock through my system. It was like a migraine that was constant. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't function. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't work. And then in the next 8 years after that, I spent in rehabilitation, trying everything I could possibly get my hands on. I was very chemicals in my body because growing up as an athlete, we were very in tune and always were educating ourselves about nutrition. And I knew what I could put in my body to get the best out of my body. But at this point, I had no answers and just researching, and the only thing I could do was try every product that was naturally on the market and try everything every modality that was available, hydrotherapy, acupuncture, acupressure, myotherapy. I visited regular naturopaths and nutritionists. I had Feldenkrais therapists. I tried yoga, Pilates. I tried everything that was available. And unfortunately, I still had the pain, and the only thing that gave me relief was heavy prescription medication. And I even struggled with taking it. I had to take it 2 days on and 2 days off so that my body wouldn't get used to it, and then me having to take anything further because I knew that it was going to cause damage, and I didn't know how long I was going to be like that for.
Wow, that's amazing. So were you taking lots of painkillers and also
Yes.
anti-inflammatories, or just painkillers?
I took both. I took mainly Panadine Forte every 4 hours, which was the only, it kept sort of wearing out at about the 3-hour mark, but I sort of dragged it out for as long as I could until it got to the point where I couldn't stand it. And that was the only thing that gave me temporary relief. And so it was 2 days on to get sleep, and 2 days off not sleeping. Because if you've got, I don't know if you've ever experienced constant pain, it's eventually it drives you crazy. And I think, being a martial artist, I had a very high pain threshold, and I think that's why I lasted 8 years. And I can tell you there were times when I thought about ending my life. And I'm an extremely positive, optimistic person. I always find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I had those thoughts towards, the last 3 years that that became more repetitive, and it was hard. It was very hard. I mean, I couldn't work. I couldn't function. Life was hard. Life was really tough.
Well, that's hard to imagine. I mean, you ask me if I've ever experienced pain, and I have to say the only time when I had my babies, but that obviously comes and goes within a few hours. I cannot imagine to have pain for such a long time and constantly being on medication. I can't even imagine that. So what happened? Obviously, all this medication had impact on your system, on your body, and especially your
Yes.
liver, I would imagine.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I kind of went on and off 2 days and on 2 days. But after, 8 years of being on them, because I had the paralysis for the first year and a half, and it was about 8.5 years that I was on them, my digestive, the final 12 months was shutting down, and I knew that I was in trouble because I couldn't eat properly. I couldn't go to the toilet. I was in a lot of trouble, and I went to the doctor and I said, I need help. There's something wrong. And he said to me, we need to do some blood tests. So they did the blood tests, and the blood test came back showing that the liver was failing. And he said, look, I don't know how long the liver can go for. We need to get you on a list to get you on a new liver because your internal organs are starting to shut down. And he said that's the first stages of, they could see that the blood tests show elevated, there's two readings that they read the liver from the blood test, and they were very, very high. And, and I went home thinking this is going to be the end for me, because I went onto the internet and had a look at the people's lives after liver transplants, and it wasn't good. And I just thought, I've just gone through hell. I was really at the end, and I didn't want to live that life. I thought, I don't want that life. I don't want to live that life. And I was so desperate. I started praying. I started praying, and I said, please give me my life back, give me my health back, and I'll do whatever you need me to do to help as many people as possible. And so it was a shock to the system, and I'm very lucky that
Yeah, I'm just saying that would be absolutely devastating news. I mean, to be on a liver transplant list, that's very tough news to handle. So what
and they didn't know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, what happened next?
Well, shortly after I put that prayer in, I got a call from one of my friends who knew how long I had been suffering for. And she'd heard about a product that friends of hers had taken, and apparently people that were in pain for 30 years had taken it. That's what she told me. She said people that have been taking the product, that were in pain for 30 years, and they took the product and their pain went away. And I said, well, I'll try anything. If you can get me some, that would be great. And they got me a month's supply of the Max products, and 6 years ago when I first started, they had their first formula called Max GXL, and I started taking that, and within 20 minutes I felt the edge of the pain go down, and sort of took that harsh edge off. And I thought it was my imagination to begin with, and I stayed on the product for a month, and I got better, and the pain subsided as the longer I stayed on it. And by the end of the second month, I was completely off my pain prescription medication, and I didn't know I could take bigger doses. So I was also taking a few painkillers here and there, but it made a huge difference. My energy came back enough for me to get out of bed and want to be able to get back to work. And that was huge, because I just spent 10 years in rehabilitation out of work, and all of a sudden I had the energy to go back to work. And the irony was that I still had a fractured spine that I was that was caused from the whiplash and from the car accidents. So coming out of chronic fatigue and disabled back into work within 2 months, I was actually very angry to begin with, because I thought I've just wasted 10 years of my life. And I went back to my doctors and said, do you know about this? And how come you haven't told me? And then I realized that, oh my goodness, our doctors don't even know about this. So I knew I had to support it and find out more about it and find out everything, because I thought, how many other people are out there like me with the same problem? So I started to research, and then The interesting thing was 6 months later when my digestive started to work a bit better, I thought that's interesting. I went and had the blood test and it showed liver improvement, and then 12 months later I had full liver repair. And I stayed on the supplement, and then when they launched, the Max company launched their Cellgevity product 2 years ago, I started taking that, and that took me to even a whole other level of energy. And, you know, I wanted to get back into exercise, and mind you, I still had a fractured spine. So that was the incredible part. And I started, you know, the more I learned about it, the more I knew I needed to support it. And I started educating doctors in my local town and, you know, health practitioners. And I thought, you guys need to know about this because this is what it's done for me. And, you know, you might be able to help other people. So, and that's how I started.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Anna, but I just want to say that this is exactly why we're having this conversation today, because as a naturopath, I feel obligated to tell others about this product, about Cellgevity and other Max products, because they're making such a huge difference and so many people are suffering unnecessarily. So in my clinic, I prescribe Cellgevity to all my patients, and I take it myself religiously. It is absolutely brilliant, and I helped so many people. So what we're doing today is just sharing this with others so they know that there is product like that.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to support this, and if this interview helps people, then I would support it. And I would say to those people who are listening to the call, whatever you do, do your research, and there's only one way to find out, and that's to try it.
Yep.
You've got nothing to lose. You try it, and I can guarantee that within a week you'll notice a huge difference. If you're in pain, or if you've especially got any liver problems, take your blood test before. I mean, you've got something to measure before and after. This isn't a product that speaks just only testimonials. This is just about having proof and being able to measure before and after results. So I highly recommend anybody who's suffering from any kind of energy loss, chronic fatigue, any liver damage or any organ damage, to do their research and get onto the product as quickly as they can.
That's fantastic. I so agree with you, Anna. And as I said before, I couldn't be without it myself. And my kids are taking it and all my patients. And I know how great it is also for sports people, for the athletes who are training, and it helps them with the recovery after exercise. Can you also comment on that? Because I know that you are a coach as well. So could you
yes.
Yeah.
I'm an international wellness coach, and through that coaching, from having a sporting background, I come across a lot of athletes that I work with, and what we're seeing is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I can honestly say that Cellgevity retards aging. I can see that it takes the athlete back to performances that they were doing 20 years earlier, and this is the most amazing thing. I mean, when you witness it and you experience it, it's hard to put into words. And we also combine it with a new sports product called ATP, and that is dynamite. I mean, you put the two together, it's absolutely dynamite.
This is fantastic. Okay, well, I really appreciate your time, Anna. Great talking to you. I wish you all very best for the future, and thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure there are other people listening who are looking for answers the way you were looking, and we're going to contribute to someone recovering from the problems. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Gosha. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for all the work you're doing to help people. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Anna.
Bye-bye.